Today, we find ourselves deep in the heart of Texasa land, known for its rugged beauty, wide-open fields, and proud, hard-working farmers. But as we stepped out of the truck and set our boots on the ground, we were met not with the peaceful hum of country life, but with a sobering sight: devastation. Acres of farmland stretched out before us, but they looked more like a battlefield than a place of harvest. Corn stalks lay shredded and scattered, uprooted from the soil as if a storm had passed through. Trenches and holes marred the earth where pigs had rooted for food. Fencing was torn apart, irrigation lines chewed and twisted, machinery dented and dragged. The air smelled of overturned soil, trampled grass, and loss. This wasn't random. It was calculated destruction left behind by wild hogs that had invaded under the cover of night. The farmers here had done all they could. They'd built stronger fences, used noise deterrents, even stayed up through the early hours trying to keep watch. But it wasn't enough. These hogs were relentless, smart, and well-fed off the backs of someone else's hard work. The land bore the weight of their invasion, and so did the faces of the farmers we met, tired, frustrated, and running out of options. Standing there, we didn't need anyone to explain what needed to be done. The damage spoke for itself. It was time to act not out of anger, but out of necessity. Every minute that passed without intervention meant another patch of ground lost, another crop destroyed, another blow to a family that had already given everything to this land. We came here prepared to hunt, but as we took in the destruction, we were reminded once again why this mission matters. It's not just about removing a threat, it's about defending the people who feed this country. And here in Texas, the battle lines were already drawn. After weeks of ground operation straps, bait stations, night patrols, and coordinated pushes through fields and woodlands hit a wall. The wild hogs had grown too smart, too evasive. They learned to avoid our patterns, changed their routes, and used terrain to their advantage. Despite our best efforts, our success rate on foot was dropping. We'd approach a field that looked active the night before, only to find it silent and empty come morning. The hogs had adapted. It was time we did too. And so, we made the call. Bring in the helicopter. It wasn't a decision made lightly. Aerial hunting requires planning, coordination, and skilled shooters. This isn't just a ride in the sky. But when dealing with an enemy as mobile and cunning as feral hogs, the bird's eye view changes everything. From the moment the rotors began to spin and the aircraft lifted off the ground, the landscape transformed. Wide fields, dense patches of brush, and meandering tree lines all came into sharp focus. And soon, so did the hog. In the first few hours of flight, the results were undeniable. Large sounders usually scattered and hidden from ground crews were suddenly visible and exposed. From above, we were able to move faster, cover more territory, and respond immediately to sightings. The shooters on board experienced, calm, and focused and executed their work with remarkable precision. Every pass of the chopper led to clear takedowns. In one sweep alone, nearly 24 hogs were neutralized, animals that might have otherwise continued to tear through crops unchallenged. What we saw from the air also gave us valuable insight where the hogs were bedding down, how they moved, and where future patrols would need to focus. This wasn't just a tactic, it was a turning point. For the first time in weeks, the tide felt like it was shifting back in our favor. The hogs had lost their advantage. And for the farmers watching from below, the distant echo of rotor blades brought something they hadn't felt in a long time: hope. One of the most debated questions surrounding the wild hog crisis isn't about how to stop them. It's about who's really to blame. Are wild hogs invading our space, or are we the ones who've invaded theirs? It's a question that cuts deeper than fences and farmland. It challenges how we view nature, how we define territory, and how we justify the actions we take to protect what we call ours. On one side, there's a clear reality. Feral hogs are tearing through crops, ruining ecosystems, and spreading rapidly across regions they were never meant to inhabit. They're aggressive, adaptable, and seemingly unstoppable. From that perspective, they are the invader-san ecological threat that must be dealt with swiftly and decisively. But there's another side to the story. Long before suburbs sprawled and highways carved up the countryside, before farms stretched fence to fence across the plains, the land belonged to nature. In many places, wild hogs their ancestors already roamed free. Some were brought here by humans, some escaped captivity, and over time, they adapted to a world we helped shape. As we pushed deeper into wilderness, cleared forests, drained wetlands, and built where they once fed and bred, the boundaries between their world and ours began to blur. From this perspective, it's not just about hogs invading, it's about us expanding, replacing natural habitats with farmland and asphalt, then acting surprised when animals fight to survive in the cracks we leave behind. This tension fuels a growing ethical debate. Is it fair to punish a species for thriving in the chaos we helped create? Are we managing a problem or cleaning up after our own disruption of balance? There's no simple answer. What's clear is that the issue is bigger than just animals versus agriculture. It's about how we coexist with the wild and whether we're willing to take responsibility for the role we play in shaping it. In many cities across the country, the idea of hunting wild hogs sparks outrage and protest. Activists gather in public squares, social media campaigns condemn the practice, and voices rise in defense of animal rights. To those in urban environments far removed from the daily toil of agricultural life, feral hogs may seem like misunderstood creatures, wild animals simply trying to survive. Hunting them, they argue, is cruel, outdated, even barbaric. But what many of these critics fail to see is the devastating reality unfolding just beyond the city limits, in the heart of America's farmland. Out there, farmers aren't dealing with abstract opinions. They're facing real losses, real threats, and in some heartbreaking cases, total ruin. For these farmers, wild hogs aren't just animals. They're a force of destruction. A single sounder can tear through acres of crops overnight, leaving behind nothing but broken plants and bare soil. Months of hard work planting, watering, tending can be undone in hours. Some farmers have watched helplessly as their entire season's harvest was wiped out in a single week. Others have gone into debt trying to repair what was destroyed: irrigation systems, fencing, equipment, and more. Livelihoods vanish. Insurance doesn't always cover wildlife damage. And while urban critics debate the ethics of hunting, rural families are wondering how they'll make it through the year. The disconnect is painful. Those who protest from apartment balconies or crowded coffee shops often don't understand what it means to lose everything to a problem that shows no signs of slowing down. They don't see the exhaustion in a farmer's eyes, or the quiet despair that comes with watching wild hogs tear apart the same land your grandfather once farmed. Hunting isn't about vengeance or cruelty, it's about survival. It's about protecting families, food security, and the balance between humans and nature. And until those who shout from afar take the time to walk through a ruined field, they may never truly understand what's at stake. When wild hog populations grow unchecked, they don't just become a nuisance, they become a national threat. These animals reproduce at an astonishing rate. A single sow can give birth to 2 litters a year, with each litter producing anywhere from 6 to 12 piglets. Do the math, and it's easy to see how a small population can explode into the thousands in just a matter of months. And unlike many other invasive species, wild hogs are not restricted by environment or diet. They thrive in forests, fields, swamps, suburbs, anywhere there's food and cover. They eat almost anything: crops, roots, small animals, bird eggs, even garbage. When their numbers multiply, their hunger grows, and with it, the scale of destruction. If left unchecked, wild hogs canand have become a kind of biological wildfire. In rural areas, they destroy agriculture, contaminate water supplies, spread diseases to livestock, and drive native species from their habitats. In urban fringes, they've been known to root up public parks, attack pets, cause vehicle collisions, and even confront humans. And as their range expands, so does the cost of their damage. In the United States alone, estimates suggest that wild hogs cause more than $2.5 billion in agricultural and ecological losses every year. That number is rising fast. This isn't just a local problem. If allowed to continue, it can evolve into a full-blown national crisis and ecological pandemic with no natural boundaries. Whole regions could be stripped of their farming viability. Native wildlife populations could collapse. Public safety could be compromised. And the longer we wait to act, the harder it becomes to turn the tide. That's why controlling feral hogs isn't just important, it's urgent. Without intervention, their population surge could spiral into something we've never seen before. A living, breathing plague with tusks and hooves. It's not fear, mongering its reality. The time to stop the outbreak is now, before it reaches a point where no fence is high enough, no field safe enough, and no remedy strong enough to undo the damage. As the final light of the day fades and the dust of another intense hunt begins to settle, we wrap up our mission not just with success, but with a sense of accomplishment and awe. It's been a long, grueling effort across rugged fields and frozen ground, through thickets and tree lines, under the burning sun and into the shadows of dusk. And now, to bring it all to a close, we invite you to witness some of the most impressive moments of the day in entirely different style of wild hog hunting, precision takedowns using modern archery. There's something deeply primal yet incredibly advanced about hunting wild hogs with a compound bow. It's not about overwhelming firepower or brute force, it's about skill, timing, and absolute control. In a world of rifles and helicopters, the bow represents the purest form of pursuit. And when done right, it's nothing short of breathtaking. With high-tech sights, razor-sharp broadheads, and silent draws, our archers move with patience and purpose, sometimes tracking a single hog for hours before releasing a single arrow. You'll see shots taken from the edge of the woods, perfectly placed for clean, ethical takedowns. You'll see hogs spotted through brush, with the help of thermal cameras, and then approached slowly, silently, step by careful step. You'll see the bowstring tighten, the breath pause, and the arrow fly with near-silent precision, finding its mark with stunning accuracy. These aren't random lucky shots. These are moments built on experience, discipline, and respect for the hunt. So sit back, watch closely, and appreciate a side of hog hunting that combines ancient technique with modern innovation. It's the perfect way to end the day one final display of mastery. One final reminder that whether it's with rifle, trap, or bow, the mission remains the same: to protect the land, defend the farmers, and restore balance to a world increasingly overrun by a threat we can no longer afford to ignore.